Welcome to my channel. Listening practice. Full story in English.
A dream of bird. Long time ago, under a beautiful night sky, there was a bird lying on a leaf and looking at the stars in the sky. This bird was quite unique. When other birds were busy looking for and collecting food, he was only busy looking at the stars in the sky. The bird had a very big dream that he had always wanted. He hoped that if he had an orchard, then he wouldn't have to bother looking for food in the forest. If he had an orchard, he would eat fresh fruit every day. If he had an orchard, he would share the fruit with his friends, so that his friends didn't have to go far looking for food. The bird thought hard about how to make his wish come true. For days the bird thought of a way, until one day the bird happened to be in a tree and saw a farmer planting corn. Every day the bird came to the farmer's garden and studied what the farmers were doing, until it had been months since the corn planted by the farmer had been bearing abundant fruit. The bird also witnessed the farmers eating roasted corn in their garden. The bird felt hungry when he saw the delicious roasted corn from the farmers. When the farmers returned to work, the bird immediately came down from the tree and ate the rest of the farmers' roasted corn. "Wow, this roasted corn is really delicious," said the bird. The bird ate all the roasted corn until his stomach became bloated. After studying how farmers planted corn, the bird finally knew how to make his dream come true. The bird would plant corn like farmers did. The first day, the bird went to collect seeds. He got several seeds such as corn seeds, guava seeds, and also papaya seeds. The bird was very happy and started digging the ground and putting seeds into the hole and then piling it up. All the seeds was planted near his own house. Every day the bird watered the plants. He did it all alone. When a seed didn't grow, the bird immediately replaced it with a new seed. It had been months since the corn finally produced its fruit. The bird was very happy. He hugged the corn because he was very grateful. The bird immediately ate the first fruit of the corn and it tasted very delicious. Until 1 year later, the papaya and guava also had fruit. The bird was very happy. He could finally enjoy all the seeds he had planted. He could eat fresh fruit every day. The bird called all his friends to come to his house. He would throw a big party. All the birds would be invited to eat as much fruit as they wanted and pack the fruit back to their homes. All the birds came, and they had a party happily. All the birds enjoyed the fruit. They were all very grateful because they had been invited to come to the party. The bird was very happy because of his hard work all this time. His dream finally came true. Finally, he no longer needed to bother looking for food because he already had an orchard which at any time had fruit to eat. Fairy world. Long time ago, deep in the forest, there was a very prosperous life. They were a nation of fairies. They all lived in various places. Some made their homes in trees, and there were also fairies who made their homes in the ground. They were very small, even smaller than a fly. The fairies had a fair nature and didn't like lying, so they lived in prosperity and all the animals liked them. All the fairies had their own jobs. Every day they flew and had fun. They gathered food and collected water. Some fairies even gardened and produced fresh fruit. They cultivated various kinds of plants and cared for them together. When the tree had fruit, all the fairies had the right to take the fruit. They took enough fruit and were not greedy. All that prosperity and happiness ended when a prolonged dry season arrived. Every day many plants died due to lack of water. A prolonged drought made many fairies sick and died. It was difficult for them to get food, and it was difficult for them to get water. The fairy queen every day thought of ways to bring water, until one day the fairy queen accidentally saw a very high and large dam. The fairy queen was curious and flew as high as the dam. When she arrived at the top of the dam, the Fairy Queen was very surprised to find that it was a water fort. Humans deliberately blocked water from entering the forest, so the forest experienced drought. Humans made dam for their own interests. Humans blocked the water that could support all creatures in the forest. For their own interests, they didn't think about life in the forest at all. The Fairy Queen felt very angry at what humans had done. Because of humans' greedy actions, they almost killed all the creatures in the forest. The Fairy Queen immediately returned to the forest in a hurry. When she arrived in the forest, the Fairy Queen announced about the dam. All the animals screamed in disapproval. All the animals felt this was unfair to them. The Fairy Queen ordered that each type of animal must gather all their members and return to that place tomorrow. The next day, the Fairy Queen and all the fairies returned to the place where all the animals gathered. Tens of thousands of animals had gathered, ranging from large animals such as elephants, giraffes, bulls, rhinos, bears to even small animals gathered in that place. The Fairy Queen invited all the animals to go destroy the dam. The Fairy Queen ordered all the animals to bring stones or wood. Stones and wood would be used to destroy the dam. A roar was heard from inside the forest. Animals were walking towards the dam. The humans who were behind the dam were frightened by the sound of the roar. They thought the end of the world had arrived, even though it was the sound of animal footsteps. After arriving at the water dam, the animals started throwing stones and wood. Some animals even threw themselves to destroy the high wall. Tens of thousands of animals worked together to destroy the dam, until blood and sweat poured down their bodies. Little by little, water began to come out of the cracks in the water dam. After the dam suffered major damage, the dam finally collapsed and the water flowed into the forest. Thousands of animals shouted happily and returned to the forest. The rivers in the forest were filled with water again. The animals in the forest were no longer dry. The fairies returned to their previous activities. The sick fairies returned to health, and they started farming again.